there, but you know, I don't know if you know, but I put the saldo on the board of supervisors for the next one.
Say it again.
The last time we were here, we talked about the saldo stuff and us actually doing something on it. So that's on our agenda for next week to actually move ahead with whatever you guys have recommended.
Okay.
Yeah. That was my only action item from last week with you guys.
We'll try to work on more.
We got enough right now.
Here, may I ask your name, sir?
Bob Shara, who prepared the plan for Rand Real Estate.
Ah, perfect. Thank you. Right, thank you.
Yeah, we're good. Thank you.
It's all over school right there.
You didn't like going from the high 80s to below freezing in 1 week.
No. Do you know what's terrible is this past week I washed all my hoodies and jackets and I put them all away and then I'm like, I gotta find a sweatshirt.
I clean my chimney, clean my wood stove. I thought, well, I can't light the stove. Never mind.
And yesterday afternoon, I was outside, and around noon it started like sleet, snow.
I went up to Fort Richard, it was sleeting up there yesterday morning.
Yeah, I was mowing my lawn on Sunday because I'm going to West Virginia after this meeting. I'm like, I gotta get this done. Yeah, over. I don't want to come back to like something on my door. Hey, mow your lawn. Like,
saw that, didn't she say confirmed, that I just saw confirm by her name, I think.
Sherry said she's sick.
She's sick?
Yeah.
Oh.
I missed that one. She just did it right at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, she said she's not gonna attend.
Oh, so she did.
Yep. Guess now we'll be getting that.
You calling up the alternate?
Well, we've got 3 results.
You don't need no problem.
If the 3 of us ended a tie, then you can.
Okay, that sounds pretty good to me.
But if you want to sit up there. Well, 6:30, I don't know what the deal with Ken is, so you can go ahead and take the roll.
Okay, okay, we have, which, who am I, I call roll, so I'm so bit.
Well, yeah,
So, yeah, Rich Paquette,
I'm here, Luther.
Luther, yes,
Here.
and Luther, and, how do you pronounce your name? Dominique.
Dominic.
Dominic would be American. Okay, not myself, I'm here, and Ken and Sherry are not here.
And then we got Chris and,
Yes, we have Chris Hall, and we have Tyler and John Van Beek, and we have Bob Sherrill present. Yeah.
so, okay. So did everyone get a chance to review the minutes? Is there any,
And there were several revisions.
We could share.
there are no comments, is anybody gonna move to approve minutes?
Well, can I, as the secretary, move to approve my own minutes? Is
Yeah.
that okay? I approve.
Unless somebody seconds it, that's fine. So who's second?
Okay,
All
excellent.
in favor?
Aye.
I don't have any comments, other than when we get to specific issues, does anybody have general comments? So as far as the, joint comprehensive plan, there's still been no contact by the county, so I think it's, I know the county said they're working on it, but I haven't had any contact with them. And Chris, you said that you'd be taking that
So,
to
yeah.
the next.
Did you already provide your recommendations for the board? Like, did you do that back in, like?
Oh, yeah, we did that back in
Yeah,
last year.
so I just need to remind you and Bobby about what we're doing. Okay.
Okay. So then there's the Andrew Mitchell property, and that has an extension and there's no real action on it, so I just need a motion to table that again.
Move the table.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so that's tabled. So that gets us to the Blue Ridge Sportsman.
Basically, you all conditionally approved it in the past, because it's half in Hamilton Band, half in Liberty. Hamilton Band had them make some revisions. They made those revisions, none of those, or at least they're making the revisions. None of those revisions affected anything in Liberty Township, so it just it got brought back to the planning commission to, if you so choose, conditionally approve it again. My last letter, the only comment I have is Liberty Township should unconditionally approve and sign the plan until Hamilton Band Township has approved the plan.
Do you know, I read from the Hamilton Dam that there's improvements made for it being a campground. Is that, none of that affects Liberty?
No, the campground part was in Hamilton Band Township, so even though they pulled out, I guess, the campers or whatever, there's still some, stuff that's there of remnants of the campground that they want removed.
But we don't really have a,
It's
And
not in
sure,
our town, it's not in the right
Right.
township.
okay.
Okay, so there's quite a lot of stuff there that had to be done, but that's all,
It's all in Hamilton
In
Band
Hamilton.
Township.
okay.
So since we already I guess we need to recommend approval again because it's a new revision.
Yeah.
How we do that?
Is this
It
been a
was-
condition,
it was
so is this,
It was conditioned on
Yeah.
him.
I mean, you can make a motion conditioned upon KPI's April 17th letter.
sorry, I lost that.
If someone wants to make a motion to conditionally approve it, the condition would be fulfilling KPI's April 17th letter.
Do we want to, are we ready to, conditionally? So I'm really caught up on this
Conditional.
condition thing. I motion to conditionally approve, as per your letter of the 17th.
Yeah, basically providing they meet your,
And it's still conditional, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
any further discussion? You're clear what you gotta put down.
Basically, there has been a new revision, most of the improvements are in Hamilton Band, and we have done a conditional approval from this letter, which I read through. It was quite a lot of stuff in it, actually, I don't know if it was detailed.
No,
That's-
we're not to go by that letter.
Oh,
We're
not
doing
sure.
KPI's letter for
Oh, this
April
was,
17th.
That letter with all the detail, that was from Hamilton Band's engineer.
right, I did get that, okay, so we're not, that's
So-
not really
so
our
That's
problem.
not our, that's information for us.
Right. Thank you. Okay, now I get the, yeah.
And you mentioned in there about, your letter about Hamilton Band approving it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's basically, it's conditioned on meeting the, requirements of the KPIs.
Yes,
April.
yes.
17th.
So, and this is the motion to recommend approval by the supervisors. So we're not actually approving it, we're
No.
recommending. So that's clear. Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. So that brings us to the land estate.
If you wanna take these guys first, feel free, my issue may take long.
So can you address their,
I guess they're Van Meter?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess you're asking, well, yeah, you're brought in a sketch plan, good.
Yeah.
You can discuss what it is that you want.
Well, the plan is, we're buying, well, me and my wife are buying the property, so basically help him retire and be able to look over him when he does retire, so we can try to keep out of hospital bills and all that stuff. But we were gonna plan on building on top of the hill and living there.
So you want two
And I don't,
residences on one property?
yes, I don't know what avenue there is, or,
There really is no avenue. it's not permitted in the zoning ordinance. So the only thing you can really do is go to the zoning hearing board and ask them for a waiver of that requirement.
Okay.
I would highly suggest you get in touch with a consultant, cause it's a legal proceeding. I don't speak for a zoning hearing board, I don't know what they're gonna say. What I could tell you is, in the past, they haven't been overly favorable on this type of situation. But every situation's separate in its own right, and that would be up to, again, I would suggest you could talk to a consultant / a lawyer, and they could just discuss everything with you and all. Cause when you go to a zoning hearing board, it's a legal proceeding, much more formal than this. You'll have the township's zoning officer, most likely a township's attorney, and then the zoning hearing board also has their own attorney. And I just recommend you talk to an attorney, because you walk in as you are now, which is perfectly fine with this. You could get wrapped up in legalese that you may not understand or be aware of what your rights are, etc. But the ordinance only allows one use per property, so even though each house would be considered a use, so you can't have two uses on
And
the
we can't
property.
subdivide it in half.
I mean, if you can subdivide it in half, that's permissible. I mean, you have to meet the ordinance. I'm not sure.
But that's a flag lot, wouldn't it be?
I was gonna say, I'm not sure you would meet the road frontage.
I have it subdivided with a section going down as right of way.
Yeah, that would be very hard. You would then you're looking at provisions in the SALDO, maybe in the zoning ordinance as well, but provisions in the SALDO, subdivision land development ordinance, that you might need waivers for, and those waivers would be handled by Board of Supervisors, not the zoning hearing board. Anything out of zoning ordinance, you have to get through a zoning hearing board. Anything out of the subdivision ordinance, you get through the township supervisors with a recommendation from this board. Again, I don't speak for either board, whether it's this board, zoning hearing board, or supervisors. It's not something they've been favorable in the past. Cause you can't create a landlocked lot, and then you wanna put a right of way there, and they don't necessarily allow panhandle lots, so there's a lot of hoops you're gonna have to jump through. And one of the criteria, whether it's zoning hearing board or any other board, you're supposed to be able to prove that you have a hardship to get this, and you can't self-create the hardship.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it'll be difficult. I'm not gonna say yes or no, but you should really talk to a consultant, i.e. an attorney who has
Yep.
experience in this, and let them, they might tell you it's gonna be a really hard battle.
Okay. That answers it then.
I'm sorry.
I guess that answers my question then.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Me? So, we just got comments yesterday that came to our office from you, Dominic, and then this morning, I guess, we got zoning officer comments. Through the day today, I had the ability to get some of these comments addressed. I know we can't look at a new plan here today, but I wanna simply demonstrate to you that we have changed the plan. We can go through the comments as you've written them. I've got responses started here already. This is just a draft, you can take one and pass it on. This is the set of plans that goes with that. I don't know if there was anything in there, unless I misinterpreted something, that is a killer. go through these one by one, I assume that's how you wanna do this, right? Just one comment at a
Just
time.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's,
this is excellent here.
thanks.
So in the AR zone, we gotta pick one of the 4 development options. This one is, will be the 60% open space. There's a plan in here then that shows the pink area would be the open space associated with this. It excludes the driveway, it excludes the building, stormwater management, which is revised from the initial submission because of, we'll get to this in a minute too, this had to be moved off the property line because of the required buffer adjacent to this residential property. So, a whole bunch of stuff jumbled together there, but that's, the comment had a lot of problems to it, I guess. This sheet here, the clear site triangle was on there, but it got turned off on this one. So again, this is a draft, so we'll get it on there. Comment 3, and this one is somewhat echoed in the subdivision comment 2. The exact language in there has an "or" phrase with it, or another material performing the same function suitable to the zoning officer and township engineer with recommendation from the township engineer. And my request is, since this is an infrequently used hangar, is there any reason we can't just use gravel here? And if the answer is no, the answer is no, but I thought it was prudent to ask, given the infrequent usage here.
As far as like, as far as stormwater wise goes, as far as driving vehicles on, there's really not a distinction between gravel and macadam. I think it's probably a better question for a zoning officer. If he is willing to allow this to go gravel, I'm not sure we would object to that. Now, you'll still have to get a waiver of that through the supervisors, because it's in 2 places, the zoning ordinance and the subdivision ordinance.
Yeah, and that's kind of the last sentence, paragraph, whatever you want to call it, to our response. Comment 4, you saw on there, we increased the width to 24. Stormwater management has been updated accordingly. 35-foot buffer, as I understand that, since this is all AR around here, the only one that's affected is this Macharski, or however you say that name, property, because that's a residence on 90-some acres over here. This is all sorting club, most of which is unimproved. So this would be in this hatched here that we'd have to buffer.
Okay.
Comment 6, the phone number was added. Comment 7 was shame on us for not looking at the plans. They were on there, they were just on a player that didn't, a layer that didn't print when it printed. Owner's acknowledgement will do that. Romer, and Dominic, you know John Romer, he was at the site today, found nothing on this site in terms of wetlands. Comment 10, the note was added to the title sheet. Sewage facilities, at this point, since this is just a hangar, we're not asking for anything. We're not gonna generate any sewage in this. If they wanna come along later, put water in the building or something, then we'll have to go through sewage
I
plant.
mean, it'll still be, I use that, it'll still be a non-building declaration.
Comment 12, yeah, that's the one that circles back to comment 2. County planning. 14, you saw the red note on every page. 15, we had a general note to say that all utilities on the lot have to be underground. I guess this is a question for you here as it relates to bonding. What do you, given the small size of this?
If this is a house, obviously, we wouldn't do it. Being commercial, they typically want bonding, and it's probably just, it's gonna probably be very small, just probably the stormwater aspect. If, yeah, I mean, you can talk to the board and ask for a waiver if you so choose, but typically just because it's commercial, they want the bonding.
As built plan, we acknowledge that. Comment 18 goes hand in hand with comment 3. 19 we talked about, that was revised to 24. And yeah, that O&M is a standard comment for stormwater management. So I guess the summary here, and acknowledging that this is the first time I saw this, but I tried to respond to these, and I'll clean this letter up and get this back in quickly. So
Yeah. Now, there may be additional stormwater comments now,
Understood.
because it moved and the roadway doubled in size. And then, as you know, and I believe the board knows, I did an addendum to my original letter issued this morning that basically is, for maybe a lack of better ways to phrase it, that this can't be used as a helipad.
understood.
Yeah, he can't be flying in and out on this site. If he so chooses to do that, he has to meet the other requirements of the zoning ordinance.
Which are impossible to meet on this little piece of land. So,
They would be impossible to meet. And there could be some other issues that come across with having a helicopter on this site.
yeah, my only response to that is this is a hangar. Hangars are permitted in the overlay zone. That's what they tell me.
Now, has your client talked to the FAA about this?
That I don't know. They did not tell me anything about it, but doesn't mean they didn't do it.
Okay, because I think the FAA is trying to get in touch with him regarding this site.
Didn't know that. I'll pass it on though.
So how would you get something in there?
It's gotta be carted across the runway.
So he's gonna, I mean, I don't know how big a tractor trailer takes, you move a helicopter, but can you pull a tractor trailer in on the road the way that that's designed?
I don't think it would take anything that big. For example, the whatever that one is, it sits down at the York Airport. That sits on its own.
It's like flatbed, kind of like a tow truck?
Yeah, it's a little thing. It has fairly small wheels, and they tow that with a thing that they tow airplanes.
Oh, okay, alright.
So it's fairly small and wouldn't be any big. Those things aren't that heavy.
Yeah, true.
I mean, we're gonna recommend, I would recommend to this board a table plan. I also think, again, we received word that the FAA is trying to get in touch with them. He should probably talk to them, cause there could be some, one of the stipulations, I'm not an airplane pilot, I don't do none of that stuff, I'm not saying you are either, Bob. It's, one of the requirements are you have to meet local, federal, state regulations as there, comes down to this airport, aircraft, helicopters, and that's the word we received, that they're trying to get in touch with them, and they haven't, as maybe they have in the past couple days, but so far as we know, they haven't been able to contact him, or he hasn't returned calls, or whatever the case may be.
But I guess my response to that is, isn't that an outside agency issue that's
I
not
don't
attached?
disagree with that. It's just the regulations say you have to meet local, and if he's not contacting them, that's sort of gonna loom over his plan as to like,
Right.
can the board, maybe they'll pass it on as a conditional approval, but I don't know if the supervisors will do anything until that is taken care of.
But it's in the ordinance. And so we wanna make sure he doesn't spend any more money out of pocket, and then suddenly gets slammed by the feds or the state.
I get that part, but I guess in an effort to move it out of this planning commission, since there's not a whole lot there, in my mind, it could be moved forward conditionally. One extra condition beyond your letter is you gotta do what you gotta do with the FAA. And if it stalls, and maybe he never makes it to the board of supervisors, or if he gets an answer and whatever correspondence are necessary at the board, giddy up, or we can move on.
Yeah.
But if not, then I get it. But I don't know that that's, in my mind, I don't know if that affects this board.
It won't affect this board. I mean, we're gonna table it just because of all the comments, and we haven't seen Romer's report. I'm not saying you're not gonna get a favorable report. And sort of just, yeah, I mean, and again, if they so choose to move forward, they can. I would recommend they table it. There's, you know, 20 comments there. And, you know, come back next month, we see the revised plan. I could see it getting out of this board. I could see, you know, again, stormwater has to change. I mean, it has changed. It might get bogged down at the supervisor's level. And I know the supervisors, when they get plans, they only like to see 4 or 5 house cleaning items. They don't want to see 20 items.
Did I miss something? Is this hangar for a helicopter or is this
It's as far as we know, it's a hangar for a helicopter.
okay.
But the helicopter, that's an odd thing. It's a hangar for an aircraft. Whether it's a helicopter or an airplane is a semi-moot point, except they have to tell us what it is because it has to be sized accordingly to put
No, I understand. I guess I had missed
So,
that little piece of information there.
yeah.
Thank you.
And it'd be right down here,
Yeah,
right
sorry.
next to the airport. Yeah.
Thank you.
Just like the 6 or 8 other ones that are down there.
Right.
So do we need a motion to table this or is that,
Yeah, we need a motion to table.
can I make a motion to table this until we have more information and everything's updated, etc.?
All in favor?
Did you want to give that to me as a revised plan or no? You're gonna.
I think we would check, so.
Fair enough.
So Luther, did you second?
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Bob. Have a good one.
Interesting.
So now we have a choice. We can either sit here till 7:30, or somebody can make a motion to adjourn. I move we adjourn the meeting.
I second.
All in favor?
Right.
Where did thing with the
And
helicopter?
it's
Because I saw your comments, but I never saw anything, how you got that information. Because I didn't think we did.
Discussions with township, secretary, supervisors, attorney. I'm not saying they are going to use it. It just said, it's just sort of like a notice, like if this is what's being planned, there is additional requirements.
Well, yeah, I don't doubt that, it wasn't in.
No, it wasn't in the plan, and then, it was sort of one of those afterthoughts of like, this is a helicopter. Most helicopters just, you know, like a helicopter pad is probably the size of this room, roughly, and they just take off and come down. And so,
Yeah, 40 by 65 feet for the size of the propeller.
okay,
So the pad that they've got is the right size.
so it was sort of like a, you know,
so
we got to sort of put them on notice that that's not,
now,
they're not permitted to do this.
so this lot is, I haven't done a drive by, it's right there, sort of in the middle of the soaring club property. But it's not actually part of the soaring club, it is something.
Well, no, none of those hangars are part of the Soaring Club, as far as I know. They're all individual lots owned by people who are part of the Soaring Club.
Yes,
But it's their own individual, and it's right along the
Yes, yes,
airport,
I
so
know.
they could put their gliders, planes there. But as far as I know, none of them are actually owned by the Soaring Club. It's individually owned by members
Yeah,
of
I
the
can
Soaring
picture
Club.
that, I've gone to watch them take off, it's great fun, take my grandchildren to watch them take off.
Yeah, and there's what, like I said, 6, 8 of them down there.
So they could land a helicopter on the airfield.
I mean, as long as they have a helipad that meets the ordinance, which I don't know if they had it, I never saw a helipad up there.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't be on that piece of property they have.
Right, he cannot fly in and out off that property. Yeah,
Well, I'll be interested to see how this progresses.
it'll be interesting,
Is that it?
probably.
So actually, a very informal thing, the two gentlemen who wanted to build two houses on the lot, it goes back to our accessory dwelling. Theoretically, would we have allowed